What's up, YouTube? It's Onion Bomb here, and welcome to my NFL Week 4 game predictions. But before we get into the predictions I have for the Week 4 games, let's recap the Week 3 games. And guys, oh my goodness, coming off of Week 2 with a tremendous 12-4 record, it almost gets obliterated because this week I won a record of 6-10. That is horrible. There were so many upsets this week. I started off amazing with 12-4. In fact, I didn't realize how good that was because that was my first time doing it. Because once again I missed week 1, so in week 2 I go 12-4. I thought, okay, this might be actually pretty easy, but this is just the NFL proving me wrong. This might be getting a little harder here. But yeah, let's just recap. The Rams beat the 49ers, not by much, only 41-39. So I could have there's a bunch of games like that in here. So I could have had a way worse record than I have. So I guess I'm kind of lucky for that. But the Rams beat the Rams beat the 49ers. I got that right. The Jaguars blew out the Ravens, which was good for me because I'm a Steelers fan, but I got that prediction wrong. The Bills beat the Broncos. I got that wrong. Sadly, the Bears beat the Steelers. I got that wrong. The Saints beat the Panthers. I got that wrong. The Vikings beat the Buccaneers. I got that wrong. The Colts beat the Browns, not by that much, but they did beat them. I got that wrong. The Jets, wow, they crushed the Dolphins. I got that wrong, 20-6. The Patriots beat the Texans, but not by much, 36-33. That was actually a pretty good game. The Texans gave the Patriots game. I did get that one right. The Falcons beat the Lions. I got that right. The Eagles beat the Giants. I got that wrong. The Titans beat the Seahawks. I got that wrong. The Chiefs beat the Chargers. I got that right. The Packers beat the Bengals. I got that right. The Redskins beat the Raiders pretty heavily, 27-10. I got that wrong. And then finally, the Cowboys beat the Cardinals. I got that right. So that adds up to 6-10. So let's just put that behind us. We are now, I'm at a 18-14 record overall. So that's only a 4-game difference. I definitely dropped. So let's see if we can bounce back a little bit with week number 4. Alright, so here are my predictions for the games of the week 4. Starting out with Thursday Night Football. We have the Packers going up against the Bears. I'm going to go with the Packers. The Bears, they beat the Steelers, sadly. They gave a pretty decent game in week 1 to the Falcons. So they couldn't, they could do this, but I think the Packers are going to do that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong because I was wrong 10 times last week. But honestly, I just think the Packers are a better team. And, they came back from the Bengals game last week. Yeah. That's all I really have to say about that. Let's move on to the Sunday games, starting off with the Saints versus the Dolphins. I'm going to go with the Dolphins, even though they did get blown out pretty bad by the Jets, and the Jets are the Jets. And the Saints are coming off a win from the Panthers. The Saints have a rough start. The Dolphins didn't. I think they're still 1 game behind from Hurricane Irma. So I think they're 1-1. I'm not entirely sure, but I think the Dolphins are gonna pull that one off. I think the Jets, being them, was kind of like a fluke. Plus, it was a divisional game, so it's kind of different from like an other team going up against the the Jets, even though I thought the Dolphins were going to beat it. In fact, I was pretty sure the Jets were going to go 0-16 or like 1-15 and be like this year's Browns. But alright, I just think Dolphins have that, Saints could. But moving on to a pretty interesting game, the Patriots and the Panthers. I have the Patriots. You can never go wrong with going with the Patriots, sadly. But I think the Patriots got this. The Panthers, they're a decent team, but compared to the Patriots, I don't think they will win this game. Patriots, they did lose to the Chiefs, but then they beat the Saints and then they beat the Texans. The Panthers winning that, I'd be a little bit surprised. I just don't see it. Next game, the Jaguars versus the Jets. Even though the Jets showed they can do something last week, I'm going with the Jaguars because the Jaguars definitely showed they could do something by blowing out the Ravens 44-7. I think the Jaguars can do that. I think they'll win a good number of games this season. Probably won't go to the playoffs. But I definitely, if they can blow out a team like the Ravens, they can definitely beat a team like the Jets. Just my opinion. Alright, moving on, we have the Titans going up against the Texans. I'm going to go with the Texans. This was a toss-up. I didn't really know. Divisional rivalry. Titans are looking pretty decent this year. I think the NFL has them going like 12-4. The Texans, Deshaun Watson is showing promise, especially against last week's game, only losing by how many, 3 or 4 points against the Patriots. So he actually almost won that game. So I think he'll show even more promise this week and go with the Texans. That is just why I think. I would not be surprised if I got that wrong because, again, you could go either way on that one. But I'm just going with the Texans. Next up, another divisional rivalry. And, of course, it's my team, the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Baltimore Ravens. And is this going to be a game? Yes. Now, you guys don't know how much it kills me to do this and how much it pains me to do this. But I just feel like I have to do this. I'm still not really comfortable doing this. But I'm just going to say, you know what, I have to be honest with myself. I have to do it. I got the Ravens winning this. I know. I don't want them to win. I hope I'm wrong on this. I don't even care if I go 16-0 this week. I hope I go 15-1. I don't even want to go 16-0 because of this prediction. Well, why do I have the Ravens winning? Simple. Because the Steelers always lose at least one game to the Ravens a year. Sometimes even both of them. Even if the Ravens aren't even any good, we'll just lose to them. And besides last week, the Ravens were looking pretty elite, especially on defense. And then last week happened. But, last week happened to the Steelers, too. If only the Steelers beat the Bears, man. We could have taken over the division, and I could have went 7-9, having a little bit better on the predictions. But no, unfortunately, I have to take the Ravens because I just think it's early in the season. It's at Baltimore. I just think we're gonna lose it. Sadly, fall to 2-2, but we're not gonna be out. Remember, it's only week 4. The Steelers won't be out of this yet. All right, next up, both of the AFC North divisional rivalries, two of them, are happening this week because the next game is the Bengals and the Browns. If you're watching that game, I'm sorry for you. No, I'm kidding. Well, I'm not, but I have the Bengals. The Browns are showing that they're still struggling. The Bengals are struggling too. However, they're showing promise against the Packers team, bringing that game into overtime, but then losing it. And the Browns lost to Andrew Luckless Colts. So, yeah, I think the Bengals are trying to turn their season around more so than the Browns. So, I'm going to go with the Bengals winning this game. But I guess the Browns could win. I don't know. But, yeah, that's not going to be the best games. We'll just move on. Next up, we have the Lions and Vikings. A lot of divisional rivalries happening this week. But I got the Lions just because I believe... Remember, don't quote me on this and don't expect me to know all the details about each and every game. But I believe Case Keenum is still going to be in for the Vikings, which, hey, he beat the Buccaneers, and the Buccaneers to me are a pretty good team. So he could do it, but I just think the Lions have a little more talent and are looking a little bit more elite than the Vikings. So I got the Lions. But hey, judging by last week, anyone can beat anybody. The Jets can beat the Patriots. Last week was crazy. So many upsets. Moving on, we have the Cowboys versus the Rams. I have the Cowboys. Cowboys, they just have more of a complete and elite team than the Rams. That's just really it. I mean, the Rams are all right. They don't really have a defense. The Cowboys don't actually really have a defense either, but I think their offense can get more points than the Rams can, so that's why I'm going with the Cowboys. Alright, next game, the Bills and the Falcons. The Bills showed promise and they beat the Broncos. That was an upset. But I'm not ready to take them yet, especially over a team like the Falcons. So I'm going to choose the Falcons just because the Falcons are the Super Bowl runner-ups from last year, and they're showing like they're trying to come back. So I think they're going to win this. Plus, the Bills aren't that good of a team for me, but hey, they're showing like they're being all right. They might do something this year. Not like playoff-wise, but they might do... I don't know. Maybe I don't know. And like I said, anything can happen judging by last week. But I do think the Falcons are going to win this one over the Bills. And yeah. Next up we have the Eagles versus the Chargers. Two mediocre teams that have talent. I have the Eagles over this one. Just because I'm feeling like the Eagles are going to be somewhat elite. Not elite, but like they're going to be pretty good this year. Not extremely good. Maybe a wild card spot. I don't think anything more than that, but I don't know. The Eagles, like a lot of people I've watched are hyping up the Eagles, so we'll see how the Eagles do, but I'm going to say the Eagles win this over the Chargers because the Chargers lose to the Browns. Like, that won't win 15. So but yeah, I have the Eagles. See, I feel like the Eagles are going to win this one. And then next up, we have the 49ers versus the Cardinals. I'm going with the Cardinals just because the 49ers just are the 49ers. They're looking... Like I said before, the 49ers and the Jets look like the two worst teams in the NFL, like roster-wise. And the Cardinals, they're not looking like the best either, but I think they're looking slightly better than the 49ers. I think they can get this one. I hope I'm not wrong. So, yeah, nothing more to say. Let's move on to the next one, which is the Giants and the Buccaneers. I have the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers lost to the Vikings with Case Keenum at quarterback, so they didn't really do anything. However, the Giants lost to the Eagles by like a field goal last week. I have to take the Bucks because the Giants have showed me nothing so far that they can win a game, and I really need to bounce back over going 6-10. So I before I can pick the Giants again, because I picked them last week, they have to show me that they can do something. If they win this game, then maybe I'll pick them next week if I think they can beat their opponent. But right now, I just think the Bucks are a better team. I just think the Bucks have this one, and I hope the Bucks have one because Mike Evans is on my fantasy team. Next one is gonna be a pretty decent game. It's a divisional rivalry. The Raiders versus the Broncos. Two pretty good teams. Two teams that are pretty hot right now. Actually, the Broncos coming off an upset loss over the Bills, and the Raiders coming over an upset loss over the Redskins. So maybe at the moment they're not hot, but they're still looking like two pretty decent teams. But I think the Raiders have this one just because I think the Raiders just look more elite than the Broncos. I think the Broncos definitely could win this one. It could go either way, but I'm just leaning more towards the Raiders just because I have more faith in the Raiders than the Broncos right now, but I think the Broncos are still a really good team, and they definitely could do this. This is a game. The Broncos, I really like picking the Broncos, but like they're always in a team. Like they're in a game against the Cowboys, which I had trouble picking, and I have trouble picking this one against the Raiders. And without a doubt, they're in a hard division. Like the Chiefs are pretty elite. The Raiders are pretty elite, and I mean the Chargers aren't elite, but they can do something from time to time. So it could go either way, but I'm going with the Raiders. I have two more games. This is the Sunday night game. The Seahawks versus the Colts. I have the Seahawks. The Colts, I believe, are still without Andrew Luck. And the Seahawks are the Seahawks. They did come off a loss of the Tennessee Titans. But they still have, without a doubt, talent on their roster, especially in their defense. So I just think they have this game because the Colts aren't looking that good. They almost lost to the Browns last week. I thought they were going to lose to the Browns, but they just barely won. That Seahawks win. That's what I think. And then Monday Night Football, the last game of week number 4. The Redskins versus the Chiefs. The Redskins just versed and beat the Raiders last week. Will they upset a pretty decent team like this week? I don't think so. I have the Chiefs winning this one. The Chiefs they're undefeated on a hot streak. I just don't see the Redskins being the team to stop the Chiefs. In fact, I don't even know what team will stop the Chiefs. They even beat the Patriots, but we'll see who they get stopped by, because I don't think the Chiefs are going to go 16-0, but I don't think the Redskins are going to be the team to stop the Chiefs. But hey, we'll see. Anything can happen, but I have the Kansas City Chiefs beating the Washington Redskins. So those are my picks for week 4 of the NFL for each game. Really quickly, because I think I might have chatted a little more than I usually do, or I don't know, it just seems like I'm going longer than I do. Really quickly here are my picks. I have the Packers being the Bears, the Dolphins being the Saints, the Patriots being the Panthers, the Jaguars being the Jets, the Texans being the Titans, the Ravens being the Steelers, sadly, the Bengals being the Browns, the Lions being the Vikings, the Cowboys being the Rams, the Falcons being the Bills, the Eagles being the Chargers, the Cardinals beating the 49ers, the Buccaneers being the Giants, the Raiders being the Broncos, the Seahawks being the Colts, and the Chiefs beating the Redskins. So yeah, those are my picks for this week. I'm previewing week 5, and there's gonna be some good games next week. It's gonna be interesting. There's gonna be some hard picks, so stay tuned for that. Also, in my week 5 video, I will have the record that I went for week 4. This one's gonna be a little bit late posted. It might be posted on Thursday as opposed to Wednesday. I try to record and edit on Tuesday and then upload it on a decent hour on Wednesday. But I had a lot of stuff to do this Tuesday, so I have to record and edit Wednesday, which is today. And I'm probably not going to upload it until tomorrow, right before the game, Thursday game. Or maybe tonight, but I like posting videos at a decent hour, so like it's more of a chance for people to stumble across it early on. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. Just remember to check back for week 5, and I will see you then. If you missed weeks 2 and 3, feel free to check those out. So yeah, currently 18 and 14. Let's see where we go after this. So thank you guys for watching. Like or dislike, subscribe or don't subscribe. You know, it's always up to you. And I'll see you guys in the next video you watch of me. Goodbye.